Hey, what's up? So, funnily enough, quite literally yesterday, I posted my video about how I caught up on the Chainsaw Man manga, and lo and behold, the next day or next day, the the next chapter drops. So, chapter 222. Let's talk about chapter 222 of Chainsaw Man. Okay, so we're still in the midst of the War Devil versus Chainsaw Devil fight. I didn't really get much into it in the last video because it was kind of just like a brief overhaul of just how I feel about the stuff I read recently. But the War Devil is absolutely going ham right now. Like, she is like pulling out all the stops. At the end of chapter 221, she hits this man, Chainsaw Man, with a nuclear punch. She used the energy of a nuclear bomb to attack Chainsaw Man. Let me say that again. She used the power of a nuclear bomb to punch this man. She literally hit him with a nuke. The power of the sun in the palm of her hands. Anyways, yeah. So this chapter picks right up after that, and it's already gruesome as fuck because we see the War Devil kind of falling out of the sky, and all she is just like a burnt, crispy head. She's a burnt, crispy head, and as she's falling, her body is forming and regenerating until she's finally whole again, and she lands. As she lands, she kind of, regains her composure, whatever, and basically just sees nothing but death and destruction. And at first, her reaction is a little off-putting because she seems genuinely like sorry for some reason about blowing everybody to smithereens with this nuke. But the cool thing to note about this is that nobody is actually dead. Like, everybody is dying, yeah, but they're in a perpetual state of dying because technically I think Chainsaw Man swallowed the Death Devil, or he ate the Death Devil. So nobody is dead. Nobody can die. So everybody's going through it. Everybody's moaning and groaning and just has like their guts spilling out and just all screwed up. This one lady has like wooden spears in her back and neck, and a piece of her brain is missing. And she's still somehow, like, I don't know how her motor functions are still going, but she's still going somehow. This lady that has a piece of her brain missing, she's kind of calling out for Chainsaw Man. Because at this point in time, a lot of the citizens still see Chainsaw Man as this kind of hero. They primarily see the Denji version of Chainsaw Man as a hero, because that's the version of Chainsaw Man that was able to talk and kind of portray himself as a hero, while Poshia's version, the all-black version, is like just this force of nature that just kills whatever he wants. So Yoru is kind of looking around at all this death and destruction, and she's like, so many people are suffering because of my power, and they'll never be released from their pain, because the Death Devil is gone. And she falls to her knees, and you think she's kind of like, I don't know, you think the Asa side of her is coming out and she's kind of feeling bad. Then all of a sudden, no, boom, this world, it's a dream come true. She's absolutely in bliss. Like, she's so happy. It looks like she's doing something else on the panel, I'm not gonna lie, but she is in absolute euphoria right now at the fact that everybody is in constant pain and suffering, and they'll never actually die. It's just continuous pain and suffering due to the actions of war, right? And so the lady that had her brain spilling out, because she sees Chainsaw Man as a hero, she's like Chainsaw Man, save us. And this is a gruesome ass scene, but it's also so cool in its own weird twisted way. The blood from her brain wound, she just tips her head over and pours it into Chainsaw Man's mouth, because Chainsaw Man, he's basically out for the count. Like, he's down on the floor, his chainsaws are broken, all of his limbs are gone, he's pretty much out for the count, dude. And just that blood alone would be enough to get him back in the fight. So she's like, Chainsaw Man, save us. Like, that's her last, her Hail Mary. And Yoru, being the devil that she is, comes over and blows her shit clean off. Nah, she just kicks her head straight off her body, and she's moaning and groaning, and it's crazy because she's still like, these humans, they can't die. So they're just going to eternally suffer. Even being headless, she just can't die. So she just feels this eternal, like, pain. I can't even imagine how that feels, to be honest. But yeah, Yoru is basically talking to Chainsaw Man, giving her little monologue speech, and it's aimed in a way that Yoru is very much talking down to Chainsaw Man, like literally and figuratively. The way she's drawn, she's looking down, she's standing above him. She has her hand out in front of him to turn him into a weapon. And with her perception, she perceives this as a win. She thinks she beat Chainsaw Man. She's won the battle. She can now turn Chainsaw Man into a weapon and take over the world, essentially. It's so funny. And as she's reaching down to turn Chainsaw Man into a weapon, she's trying to think of a name, and she's coming up with the most like Dragon Ball ass like prefixes. She's like super, no, ultra. And then all of a sudden Denji sticks his human hand out, which is surprising. Which means like Denji just kind of pops back into control, I guess. I don't know. He sticks his human hands out, and he's basically like, nah, I win. Essentially what just happens is Denji goes, you played rock, paper, scissors, and I played scissors, and you played paper, which means you lose. So he took him sticking out his peace sign, her sticking out her hand, as him doing paper and her doing scissors. Or sorry, vice versa. Oops. As him doing scissors and her doing papers, right? And because he says that, he technically does win. Like, using logic, if they were playing rock, paper, scissors, he technically does win, right? So so she tries to turn him into a weapon, and I guess her name for the weapon is Ultra Chainsaw Man Machine Gun. Interesting weapon name, Yoru. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work because she actually perceives that miniature game of rock, paper, scissors as a genuine loss. So she perceives herself as just losing just now, and essentially tells Chainsaw Man to lose again, and it starts finger blasting him. Pause. Like her finger gun. She finger gun. Anyway, she shoots him, right? Boom. She blows him up. She shoots him. And Denji comes out the rubble saying, looks like Pochita's strongest devil powers and my high school educated genius brain have combined. Denji didn't attend high school, by the way. His education is a lot lower than high school. I'm just going to say that. I don't know where he was in a classroom before. He definitely was. He didn't attend a single class. He's not a high schooler. If anything, he's like a kindergartner. Anyways, moving on. Yeah. And after this, we see Denji erupt in his new form. He says, I'll spell it out for you. You lose, baby. And that's the end of the chapter. Super, super short chapter, I feel like. But we basically get the reveal of Denji / Chainsaw Man's new form. The name of the chapter itself is actually called Denji Man. So a lot of people are dubbing this new transformation as Denji Man. And essentially what it is combining, Denji kind of said it in his own goofy, quirky way, but it's essentially combining the brain and humanity of Denji with the power and ferociousness and viciousness of Chainsaw Man, right? And especially in the last video, a lot that I made about Chainsaw Man, I was talking about how heavily the story was emphasizing the separation of Denji and Chainsaw Man, and I feel like that was on purpose for this moment. So we saw a lot of development with Denji mentally and just as a character, and we saw a lot of moments of just Chainsaw Man himself and how Chainsaw Man is himself, and we see that Chainsaw Man is a very mindless creature that can't even formulate a sentence, but has this crazy power and ability, so much so that he can erase devils entirely from existence. So imagine that power in the hands of somebody with a good heart, you know, with the intent to do better and stop evil. And so Denji Man is born. Denji Man is exactly that. He is essentially he's essentially a superhero. as crazy as it seems. And there is some minimal changes to his design, but it's noticeable enough to warrant like a new form, technically, quote unquote form. Um, Starting at the top of the head, he has horns now. He has horns. He has the eye the eye sockets back, the eye holes, whatever you want to call. He keeps the I don't know what it is. I guess umbilical cord or intestines. I think it's an umbilical cord. He keeps the umbilical cord scarf. That's like a staple for the black chainsaw man. And he has a lot of body armor, but it looks a bit different than the normal black chainsaw man. He has a bit of body armor, and looks like there's a lot more on the torso and the shoulders, like the upper half. That, and he loses the extra limbs. The limbs are back down to 2, but they look a lot more reinforced. And he just looks a lot bulkier and just like almost like he's in some sort of like mech suit or something like that. I think it's super cool. And he's clearly showing that he can formulate dialogue and everything, and he's talking with Denji's vernacular, which is a clear indicator that it's Denji behind the wheel and not Pochita. And I think this is kind of the epitome of Denji's progression at this point in time. Kind of coming to terms with both sides of him, both his chainsaw heart and his human heart, and merging it into one giant force of nature that is just him, that is just Denji man. But yeah, super cool. The chapter itself was super short. I'm kind of glad that I kind of binged Chainsaw Man recently, because these chapters are short. There's not much to go on. Every time the chapters are released one at a time, so I understand why people say binge Chainsaw Man, because it's not like it's just one of those things that it's better to binge. Super short chapter. We didn't get much besides Denji's new transformation and a confirmation that the battle is not over yet. We're entering the next phase of the battle, where the protagonist gets a little power up. So I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm excited to see what Denji man can do. And yeah, hopefully you stick around. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. It helps a lot. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Bye.